I'm making another album and I'm about to work on a track which I feel quite a bit of resistance to. And this is one of the benefits of using the music machine and the cycling process that I use to work on music, in that the decision about what to work on is already made for you. You don't have to make that decision. So it makes it a lot less likely that you will procrastinate and avoid any given piece of music because it's next in the list. And funnily enough, this piece of music, I don't know why I'm procrastinating, or I feel like procrastinating on it or feel resistance to, because it's actually a very simple piece of music. It's one of the tracks on the album. In fact, it might be the only track now on the album, which is like a kind of, it's not a full, it's like a very simple idea that is meant to link two sections together. It's track number 6. It's called Lucky, and it kind of moves the album from one half to the other. And it's short. It's not got a verse and chorus structure. It's more of just like a little statement about, are we feeling lucky? So I had a listen to the early version of it that I've got, and I was thinking, what is it? What is the problem that means that I'm procrastinating on it? And I think what it is that at the moment, because I improvised the lyrics and I know what it wants to be about, it essentially says, are we feeling lucky? Are we gonna play this AI card? I mean, I think we are. There's not much we can do about it, but it could go either way. Are we feeling lucky? That's basically the idea of this little ditty. And I think what it is because I improvised the vocal, the lyrics are very obvious. They're kind of too on the nose. And that makes it a bit crap. So I think what I have to do in this session to solve this problem is attempt to come up with some metaphors, some imagery that hint at what I'm trying to say here without being so on the nose and obvious. I'm recording this session review the day after I did the session because I ran out of time, completed the session, had to go straight in to cook dinner for the family. And I've just done a Magic Music Machine session, and so now I'm recording this review. And to be honest, I can't exactly remember the details of the session, but what I do remember is how I once again was reminded that resistance, procrastination, is virtually nothing. I mean, when people say, I just feel this massive resistance, I've got this block to working on this track or making music, and I actually ask them, what is it? Just point to where you are feeling this block. Where is the resistance? What is it? Literally, how does it feel? If you do that right now, if you're resisting a particular piece of music, I want you to actually try and find this feeling, right? Maybe even point to it in your body. Try and think, okay, so where is it? What does it feel like? Because what you will notice is that it becomes increasingly difficult to find. It becomes increasingly like a kind of ghost, like it's not actually there, and that there is, in fact, very little standing between you and working on that piece of music. And one of the things that creates this ghost, this image of resistance, this idea of resistance, it's very simple. It's in fact a lack of clarity as to what your next steps are. The way of overcoming that lack of clarity is to listen to the piece of music and say, okay, so what are the problems? Not what are the solutions, not what could I do, not none of that, but in fact, what are the problems that are standing between me and this piece of music being what it needs to be? So in the track I was working on yesterday, I realized that the problem was that the lyrics, the vocals, the words were too obvious. They weren't, it was almost like they were just saying what it was, rather than there being, they weren't particularly lyrical. There wasn't anything very interesting in the lyrics. And as soon as I recognized that problem, well, then I articulated that problem clearly. Well, then I knew what I needed to do next. And instantly, this so-called resistance, this so-called procrastination was gone. So 2 things for you to take from this. Number 1, this so-called resistance, this big foe that you're facing, if you are resisting making music, look at it. Where is it? What is it? I can promise you in the majority of cases, when you do that, you'll realize there's not actually, it's just a feeling, often a momentary feeling. And secondly, practically speaking, what is creating this wanting to turn away from it, this feeling, is not knowing what the next step is. Remember, success is knowing what to do next, and it's very simple to figure out what to do next. Simply focus on the problems. So I recorded the actual session when I worked on the lyrics, so if you want to check that out, there's a link in the show notes if you're listening to the audio podcast, and there's a link in the description if you're watching the video version of this. And so now it's time for me to stop talking about making an album and start making one.